Live from downtown Vancouver at the Vancouver Film School campus, it's time for EP Live. Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas. This is Bear Safi, and we are back after a little bit of a break, and it is time to talk about everything cool, and lots of cool things have been going on. We are going to jump right into our rundown, which we are dedicating to the one and only Dave Filoni, who we all love. Yes, we love Dave Filoni.
Yes, give a round of applause for Dave.
For kicking ass on The Mandalorian, and The Clone Wars launches tomorrow on Disney+.
Cannot wait.
Yeah, the new season. Can't wait to get caught up and watch all of those. Okay, let's get into our rundown. It looks like Hollywood is getting ready to loot the alien world of Pandora. A big screen movie based on the Borderlands game is moving forward and has officially signed a director, filmmaker Eli Roth. He might seem like an unusual choice. Roth is best known for directing lower-budget horror movies like Cabin Fever and Hostel, although his taste for violence and dark humor might fit the tone of the Borderlands games. The film is being produced by Lionsgate, a frequent collaborator of Roth's, and game maker Gearbox Software is also involved in the creative process, although it's unclear how much control they'll have over the final film. After Sonic the Hedgehog, we're going to start to see a lot more video game movies get greenlit.
I'm worried about this, Vic. Yeah. I don't think Eli Roth is the right director for this.
No?
And I don't think...
Why?
What great films has he done?
You know what?
Like, what has there ever been a movie that...
he's done some acting, and he's been around Tarantino.
But that's acting.
He's got a good movie in him.
Like,
This might be it.
Look at his IMDb and look at all the movies he directed.
And
they're
produced.
all like 5 out of 10s or 6 out of 10 movies.
Sure.
And Borderlands is an amazing franchise.
Yes.
It deserves that fan treatment.
Right.
And I don't understand why video games movies, we don't get the 3D treatment. And I say that as in, like, why don't we get video game movies like Spider-Verse?
Right.
Why does that not go forward and we need to make these live action
3D animation?
Yeah, like a 3D animated movie that really, gives love to the world and the characters.
I think they probably feel like it's too closely connected to what the video games already look like.
That's okay.
And they want to change it.
Okay.
I mean, Hollywood wants to put their stamp on. And then they get relegated to DirecTV. Good call, Kurt. That's very cool.
Yeah, but
I
don't know. Eli Roth?
I think this is... I'm certainly not a huge fan of his work for sure, but this is pretty big news for a less than hugely conspicuous title out there. It's a big franchise.
It's a huge franchise.
But I don't know if it's the first thing that people say, we need a movie about that. It's a big deal. It's a big game. And, Eli Roth is enough of a name that it's an interesting choice.
It's better than Ua Bowl, right?
Yes.
So we're getting somewhere, and we'll see what the future brings.
Throwing some harsh shade on Eli Roth right there, breaking it down. I love it.
Oh, look, the copy of Dreams spell.
Oh, don't hit the table. That's
God.
right. Okay, now over to another video game movie. We're going to be talking about video game movies every episode of EP Live, I think. It looks like the big screen Uncharted adaptation is finally happening for real. The film adaptation of the Naughty Dog video game series will begin filming next month. That's according to star Tom Holland, who tells IGN that shooting starts in just 4 weeks and that the screenplay has taken a lot of inspiration from the fourth game, A Thief's End. That might come as a bit of a surprise given that Holland is a lot younger than Nathan Drake in that game. Holland adds that he's been a big fan of the entire series, which is one of the main reasons why Sony wanted him to star in the film. An Uncharted movie adaptation has been struggling to get off the ground ever since the first game came out in 2007. Now, you know what's interesting about this, right, is Mark Wahlberg is playing Sully. And
don't look at me, Vic. This is a dark time for video games, man.
It's really weird, right?
Oh.
And the other weird thing is that, of course, the Indiana Jones 5 is going into production this summer as well. And presumably, we're going to have an Uncharted and an Indiana Jones movie hitting screens around the same time. I love Wahlberg and I love Tom Holland. They're kind of cheesy choices for Nathan Drake, though. They're so inappropriate. And everybody says, why is it Nathan Fillion, Nathan Drake? Especially if you're going to do the fourth movie first, right? Or the fourth game first. Make it about Nathan Fillion. And then cast a younger guy, if that's successful. It's crazy.
This is why I might blame the Sonic the Hedgehog movie for all of this.
Right.
Like, this train of Hollywood.
No, they've tried this before.
They have tried this before, but we were on a good break Vic.
Yeah.
We had a nice little streak without any,
Dude, you know what
we
the-
both stopped making movies.
Yeah, but
for
you
a
know what
while,
Sonic
and-
proved, and same with Detective Pikachu, is that
It was
if you
okay,
take
though.
it was okay. It was too
Yeah,
weird.
yes,
but
it's not
it
great.
honored the fans of Pokemon in some really fun ways. Okay,
Could've done it better.
Sonic definitely did. And they learned a huge lesson that they went back to the drawing board and redid all of that animation. A huge pain in the ass, lots of money, lots of overtime work for lots of people involved. But they really wanted to make the video game fans care about the movie, and they did. So that's a huge lesson for Hollywood.
Before we move on to the next thing, it's kind of
Yeah.
clear that they're trying to make an origin story here. So we'll probably see a young Nathan Drake
Yeah.
kind of getting to the point where he is. They're probably going to want to make a franchise out of this if the movie does well.
Yeah.
Right? So they're probably going to want to do 5 or 6 movies in the next
What's going to
20
be
years.
interesting is all the short guys that they hire for the bad guy roles. Because Tom, they're about
they're
my
both-
size. Tom
yeah,
Holland
they're
and Mark
like
Wahlberg.
5'6", 5'7", yeah.
It's like me and Tommy starring in Uncharted.
I listen.
It's-
Robert Downey Jr. is like 5'7"
He's,
too.
yeah,
man.
he's,
Like,
not, he's not
it's-
big.
Yeah.
But you know, I expect all the big bad guys will be well under 6 feet. Hopefully, they're great movies, though. I mean, like, hopefully all the stuff is coming together and they'll be a lot of
don't know,
fun.
Vic. We'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see. I still have hope and faith.
You're much more positive than I am.
And
about this.
I really genuinely like Tom Holland.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a sweet actor.
He's
a
great.
sweet dude. He's
pretty much
a
saved
great
Spider-Man in the MCU as well, right? So, yes. So you have my faith for a little while, young Padawan. All right. Speaking of Padawans, Disney and Lucasfilm are giving audiences a new way to watch the original Star Wars films, although not the originals. Coinciding with the Blu-ray release of the new film Rise of Skywalker on March 31st, Disney has announced that they're bringing all 9 of the Skywalker saga films to 4K Blu-ray for the first time, including the original trilogy. Until now, the only way to watch the classic films in 4K was through the Disney Plus streaming service, so the Blu-ray should have a lot less compression. The only problem is that these will be the special edition versions with altered visual effects and re-edited scenes, which have aged so well. These have been the only way to purchase the classic films for years and are the only versions that many younger Star Wars fans have ever seen. And this was the opportunity right here, wasn't it?
This was the opportunity. You know, I don't know what's going on as far as the unspecial edition, the originals goes, because there was a talk about J.J. Abrams talked about it on Twitter a little while ago. Then he was interviewed after, and I wonder if it was Disney silencing him because he was like, I don't know if it's possible. Like, I don't know if the
It is
stock
possible.
footage, which I think it is possible.
Yes.
I think that was a PR, kind of answer.
Yeah.
And then there's all this talk about licensing. There's some talk about, some people owning, which I also think is bogus.
What, effects?
Just some of the scenes.
Some of the pieces?
So, yeah, some of the pieces because Fox, I think, had some rights to the first movie.
Fox is owned by Disney now.
Yeah, which
So
I don't
all
know.
of it is
I don't know
scrubbed.
what's going on. I mean, I'm sure Disney has the power to do this.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just-
you know what Disney also has the power to do is, like redo these effects in general. Like redo them all.
that's
Like
true.
they have all the plate shots, they have all the green screens, they have all of the original
But I still-
CG work.
I don't
Go
know
back
if people, I
in
know
and
people will be
tour it.
satisfied with that, Vic. I think there's a lot of people out there who want to see it how they saw it in theaters
Right.
in the 70s.
I'm
and they
one
want to
of them.
relive that.
Yeah.
So I don't even think that's the right way to go. I think they just
Well-
need to add this as a Blu-ray bonus.
My thought is it isn't even the special editions of the original trilogy. It is episodes 1 through 3, which are aging even less
Yes,
well
that's true.
than the
That's true.
special
'Cause
editions.
The last 2 were shot on digital too.
They're
That's-
brutal.
Yeah.
I watched 3 recently because I'm addicted to Clone Wars again, and
Yeah.
it was awful. It was so cheeseball. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't the story. It wasn't the acting.
Yeah.
It was the effects were terrible.
Yeah,
and
seeing Yoda fly around, like, it doesn't age well.
No.
This is the issue I think with VFX in general.
Yeah.
Is just it does not age as well as animatronics did in the 90s. Like,
Well,
look back at like the Mortal Kombat movie. Do you guys remember Goro in the Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
movie? Remember how good that looked? That was awesome.
because it was a puppet.
It was a puppet.
Right.
Exactly. It was the highest end of a puppet they've ever built in Hollywood at that time.
I mean, they went down the road, and I feel like what they should do is go back and keep correcting.
Yeah.
And then.
Sure.
It's kind of sucks that they're always tinkering with it, but they've already opened that box, so you might as well go back and fix it. And while you're at it, fix Leia and Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One as well, because we can do those things better now. You really can. Okay, we have got a fantastic guest that we're going to get to. His name is Andrew Lawson. He's an animator from Disney. But first, here are your weekend plans. Welcome to Weekend Plans, where we show you the best new games, movies, and TV shows to check out this week. Move over, Chewbacca, because Harrison Ford is a new furry companion. The Call of the Wild is a new movie hitting theaters this weekend starring Ford alongside a cartoon dog named Buck. Based on the Jack London story of the same name, the film takes place during the Alaskan gold rush of the 1890s, with Ford as the leader of a mail delivery dog sled team who takes Buck under his wing. Together, they go on the adventure of a lifetime.
We could go, you and I, where no one's ever been before.
Alongside the cartoon dog, there's also cartoon bears, cartoon wolves, cartoon avalanches, cartoon rapids, and more. So, judging by the trailer, it looks like Harrison Ford is one of the only real things in the movie.
Glad you're enjoying this.
Corruption 2029 is a new tactical strategy game from the Bearded Ladies, the same studio behind 2018's Mutant Year Zero. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic future where players command a team of heavily armored soldiers who go behind enemy lines. The gameplay looks very similar to Mutant Year Zero and other tactical games like XCOM, and the developers are promising a heavy degree of strategy and challenge with loads of RPG-style customization and abilities. Disney struck down the Clone Wars back in 2014, but it's become more powerful than you can possibly imagine because an all-new season begins streaming on Disney Plus this Friday. The new episodes continue the story of Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka Tano, and more between the events of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, although it looks like some of this new season will continue the story even after the events of Revenge of the Sith. Given that we already know what happens to most of these characters, it will be interesting to see what creative scenarios the show could come up with to keep longtime fans engaged and on the edge of their seats. Another prequel series returns this weekend with the 5th season of the Breaking Bad spin-off Better Call Saul. The new episodes will see Jimmy McGill finally embrace his Saul Goodman persona and begin serving as a lawyer for some of Albuquerque's most shady criminals, complete with new cameos from some familiar faces. Because the show is quickly approaching the time frame of Breaking Bad, you can expect the tension to build and build, although this won't be it. A 6th and final season has already been greenlit and will hit the airwaves next year. Amazon had a lot of luck with Man in the High Castle, so they're giving audiences more Nazi hunting action with Hunters. The show is loosely inspired by the hunt for real-life Nazis after World War II, with Al Pacino playing a skilled Nazi hunter who recruits a team to uncover and eliminate a secret cell of former Nazi evildoers living in the United States. It looks like the show is going for a more comedic take than what you would get out of most shows and movies based on this subject matter, so hopefully it strikes the right tone.
Mazel tov!
That's it for this edition of Weekend Plans, but make sure you keep your eyes peeled right here for more new games, movies, and TV shows to check out next week.